nouns. Those were the most questions you have there. Others were the only one that wasn't part of that question. I think I would get to see it when we start the correction. So I'll share my screen now for those that took the test to see what their results were like. I think I recorded more success than failure. I have. Let me share the screen now so you can see your results. If you can identify your name there, you see what you score. Okay, you can see I have Awodeyi. Let me start from the number one on the list. That was Royhan with 45%. Buhari Taufik with 30%. Lawal Yusro. I think Lawal Yusro is one of the first three that joins the class very, very early. I've been taking note of that ever since we started this class. Lawal Yusro is always one of the 1 to 3 that joins the class very, very early. So she has 80%. She had 80%. Jubilee Rahima had 75%. Salahuddin Abdulhaq, 35%. Nafiu Hassan. I don't know what went wrong. Maybe, I don't know, because saying 0% means you did not even attempt any of the questions. Abdurazak Nafisa Ojolakpe had 85%. Khadija Taufik, 45%. Can you all see my screen, please? Lawal Rodia Taiwo, 80%. Ajibade Atiya had 55. Ibrahim Bashir, 55. Abdulatif Abdurrakib, 35. Ali Khadija, 40. Adeni Ibrahim, 65. Aisha Kozim, I have for 85. Ajani Mariam, 90. Ajayi Khadija Olateju, I don't know what went wrong. You did not attempt any question at all. So Jima Nafisa, 80%. Zainab Yahya, 50. And like that, till we get to the 30th learner. So if you can see my screen properly, you would see what you scored. You see your score. And the score is over 100%. Now, for those that did below 50, those that got below 50, I wouldn't want you to be, to be sad. Okay, we do not have any 100%. We do not have any 100%, and we do not have 95%. The highest we had was 90%. I think I had 1, 2, 3, just 3 90%. And I have 85%, 80%, 70%. And I have below 50% that I have just how many learners that scored below 50%? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Out of the 30 learners that took the test, the assessment, it was only 9 learners that scored below 50%. Others were above 50%, but I do not have any 95% or 100%. I only had 90%, 85, 80, 70, and all of that. Okay, for those that did not attempt the test at all, I don't know what went wrong. Maybe you haven't even listened to all the recordings of the class. I do not know. For those that got 90%, more than 50% generally, please do not relent. Do not see it as if, oh, it means that if I can get 90% in this assessment, then I will do well in my UTME use of English exam. Don't be too confident with this, as this is just a fraction of what the examination question looks like. This is just like one topic out of all the topics you have for your use of English. Don't be too confident. Don't relax. Don't say, oh, I've gotten 90% now. I can always relax now. Then when it is a week or two to exam, I would pick up my book and rush through. At least I know all my plural rules for compound nouns and collective nouns now. I'm good to go. With those two, I'm good to go. You might not see more than maybe 2 questions in your question. Out of all the questions you will have, You might not see more than 2 questions here. So don't be too relaxed. Don't think that 90% means you are getting that 90% already. So I pray that we get there and we get more fantastic results as we move on. And this is also a reminder for those that haven't gone back to listen or watch all the recordings on our YouTube channel. Please and please endeavor to do that. I know you have many of you have something else doing, but then you should also create time for what is important now. Create time instead of the time you spend on TikTok watching videos that are, not of any benefit. You can just pick that time. Most times we all say 24 hours. Oh, 24 hours is not enough for me. 24 hours is just as if we are spending 5 hours. It means they've subtracted 19 hours from it. But then if you sit down and you plan your day, you plan your time, you plan your schedule around everything you want to do, you plan it, you put your time in there. Okay, if I am not doing this by 7 o'clock, that means I can't do it anymore today. I have to move on to another task. And we should not always form busyness. Oh, I was busy throughout today. I was busy throughout today. Busy doing what? So it is better to be productive than to be busy. You can't just be busy doing nothing. You have to be productive. Okay, what have you been busy doing? I've been busy looking at the birds flying in the sky. No. What has that gotten to do with you preparing for UTME? Let's assume you are looking at those birds, recording the time of flight, and you are using it for a project now. We can consider that as being productive because at the end of the day, you will get a result from it, which is getting a grade for your project or something. But then you should be busy. I mean, you should be productive, not busy. Because being busy, you can just be busy scrolling through your phone, watching videos, scrolling through Instagram, Facebook, all the status the contact you have on your phone uploaded. You've viewed everything, and at the end of the day, you come and say, "Oh, I'm so tired. Now I need to sleep." And when somebody asks you, "Okay, what have you been doing all day? Why do you feel so tired?" "Oh, I have been busy." Busy doing what exactly? So now this is not the best time for you to start watching videos on TikTok. It is not the best time for you to start wasting away your time. This is the best time for you to do what you need to do. When you do this now, you do it once, and by the special grace of Allah, you get your results once and you get into your desired university. No one will tell you to come and sit for another UTME. It is not possible. Now, no one can tell me to come and sit for another UTME or to come and sit for another WASI. It is not possible because I have done that and I have done it. Likewise, you too, for those that are through with senior secondary school, no one will call you now to come and sit for SSC. It is not possible. So you do the right thing at the right time. Please and please, let's see this opportunity as a golden one. I know you've taken it as that, but then let's utilize it more. We want to record amazing results. And I know that I have smart learners here. I have amazing learners here. I have smart learners here. I have amazing learners here. So I know you are going to do good. Please and please, your camera is on, Taufik. Turn off your camera, please. Thank you. And just like the little tutor typed now, don't be among the category of people that says, "Oh, Kinka English now." It is something I use in my day-to-day conversation. Do you use pluralization of compound nouns? Do you use it in your day-to-day conversation? No. Even majority of us here, I can say from all the learners I have here, majority of the learners I have here do not speak English at home. That is not to say I am insulting anyone. No. What I am just saying is it is a normal thing. We find ourselves as Yorubas. Majority of the learners here are Yorubas. So that is what we use as a means of communication at home, day to day. So don't think that the English you speak on some days occasionally is what you are going to use in picking answers in your examination. It is not possible. Let's assume that I haven't taught you the rules of pluralizing compound nouns and I give you test assessment on it. Majority would just do a EJ, UOJ. You know EJ, UOJ now. Let me just pick this one. This one will work. This one will work. Let me just pick this. And you might be lucky, and at other times you might not be lucky. So please and please treat it as you treat your chemistry, your physics, your mathematics. Don't give it less importance. Don't say, oh, English shani. When I get there that day, I'll use my brain, Jare. Let me just focus on my math, my physics, my chemistry, my biology. No, you should prioritize all the subjects you'll be sitting for in your examination. I hope I am communicating. And this is just the starting point. This is just the starting point. This is just the starting point. Please and please, let's buckle down. This is the starting point. You have to, so you have to be very, very attentive in class. Always go back to the recordings. So I'll just keep hammering on that. Always go back to the recordings, please and please. Now let's move to the correction. Okay, I'm sorry, please. Can we continue? I hope you understood everything I explained with regards to taking this as a serious business and not just something that it's free and I can just do anyhow I like and I don't need to study. Somebody raised their hand. Do you have a question, Nafisa? You raise your hand. Can you all see my screen? Please, if you can see my screen, just unmute yourself and say yes, I can see your screen. Can you see my screen, please?
Yes, I
Yes,
can see.
Christmas.
Okay. Okay, so let's start with the correction. Now, we have the first question. The court ordered the lorry driver to pay for the dash to my cat. The court ordered the lorry driver to pay for the dash to my cat. Looking at this, this is from compound noun. And one of the rules of compound noun is that compound noun should not be pluralized. This makes question option A to be out of it. We do not pluralize compound noun. So damages is out. You shouldn't even pick damages as one of your options. Now, option B, heavy damages. Damages, another red flag. Heavy damages, another red flag. Why? The damages there is pluralized, and this is not um one of the rules. It is not to be pluralized. Compound noun, sorry, your countable, uncountable nouns should not be pluralized. So you have heavy damages to be out also. Now this says destruction. We do not have any business with this. D, many damages. You do not use many with uncountable noun. And even if you want to, damages should not have s. You do not use many with countable noun, uncountable nouns, sorry. That makes option E to be the correct option. Damage. Damage. Why? Because my compound noun should not be pluralized. So damage is the right answer here. If you picked damage, that means you got this question right. So please and please, let's all always go back to the rules. Read the rules, try to understand them. They are not hard. You just need to understand them and practicalize them. Solve questions with them, practice questions with them. That is when you can get to, be sure that you know the rules, not just by reading it and memorizing it. You have to also practice with question. Now let's move to the second one. The second question reads, the passenger waited patiently whilst the transfer is dashed from the taxi to the bus. The passenger waited patiently while the transferred is dashed from the taxi to the bus. The first one I have again, properties. This is wrong. Your uncountable noun should not be pluralized. So A, B, C is out. A, B, C is out. Now we are left with two things. We have C and, sorry, A, B, D is out. We are left with just two, C and E. Now, who can tell me why we can't pick E? Property is also an uncountable noun, and here it is not pluralized too. Why can't we pick E as the option to this question? You can unmute yourself and tell me. We have to choose between option C, luggage, and option E, property. So now who can tell me why we can't pick option E? You can unmute yourself, please. Does it mean that no learner here knows the difference between luggage and property?
No,
Okay.
no, because properties can't be moved as can't be moved anyhow. But luggages is something movable easily.
Okay. Any other opinion? Any other answer to my question?
Property, it entitles many things like houses, clothes, land, and everything. But luggage, you just take things that can be movable. Like, what's the movable things?
So your luggage are like, I already explained this while we were doing uncountable nouns and their rules. Your luggages are like, or your luggage rather, sorry, luggage are like your traveling bag. You know, when you're going from your school to the hostel now, or you're traveling from a town to the other, you take your traveling bag, your school bag that you have, your loads in it, and all of that. So those are luggage. But when you talk about property, you know, it can be a landed property, it can be something that you can't move and transfer. Now, you can't carry your house now from the taxi to the bus. It is not possible. So when we say luggage, luggage are things like your traveling bag, your traveling your box, you know, those the box you put your clothes in and all of that. So that is what makes option E not to be correct, because you can't move your property, but you can move your what? You can move your luggage. You can't move all of your property, but you can move your luggage. So the passenger waited patiently while they transferred his luggage from the taxi to the bus. You can see that I am analyzing the answer. I am not just picking my answers. I am telling you why one is correct and the others are not. This is what you should also do. And that is why you have to learn the rules, practice and understand them properly. So you can see um, the bad ones with evidence, and you can pick the right answer also with evidence. Now let's move to question 3. Question 3, when we were coming back from the picnic last Friday, they dash on Eco Bridge. When we were coming from the picnic last Friday, there dash on Eco Bridge, I have were many traffics. There was much traffic. There were plenty traffic. There were lots of traffic. There was a few traffic. Now, option A, option C, option D, we will rule those 3 options out. Why? Option A has traffics. Uncountable nouns should not be pluralized. Option D is talking about plural too, where lots of traffic. Had it been we have a lot now, okay, we could still hold on to that, but now we have lots. So that makes it to be incorrect. Now, another option we are going to rule out is option option E. We are going to rule out that too. We are now left with option B and C. Option B is was much traffic. And option C, we have where plenty traffic. Where plenty dash. I think there should be traffic there, but it's not there. Where plenty, so that is out. Now, we have option B to be the what? The correct one. Because when we are talking about some quantifiers you can use for your uncountable nouns, much is one of those determinants that you can use for your uncountable nouns. So we have there was much traffic. You can see traffic is not pluralized here. Was is the past tense of is. Don't be confused. Don't say, but was is there now? Was as s, was is plural. No, was is the past tense of is. So we have there was much traffic on Eco Bridge. If that is clearly understood, let's move to question 4. Question 4, the school board has placed an order for dash. All the furniture and equipment required in the new school, all the furniture and equipment required in the new school, all of the furniture and equipment required in the new school, and many of the furnitures and equipment required in the new school. If you look at these 4 options properly, you will see that option D, option A, and option C are all wrong. Why? In option A, equipment is pluralized. Let's assume you don't have equipment to be pluralized now. We could say, oh, let's hold on to this. But option A is out. Option C is also out because equipment is also pluralized there. Now, option D, both furnitures and equipment are pluralized, which is not supposed to be so. And this is what makes option B to be the correct answer. All the furniture, my uncountable noun should be singular, and equipment required in the new school. Now, let's move to the next question, question 5. They spent the last holiday with their dash. We have A, sister-in-laws, B, sisters-in-law. Sorry, please. Sorry, please, let me reshare that screen. Sorry about the back and forth. Yes. Can you all see my screen? Can you all see my screen?
Yes, ma'am, we can see.
Okay, let's
Yes,
continue,
ma'am.
please. Let's continue. See, I guess I will have to start from the beginning as I have the questions shuffled already. So let's pick it from question 3. Because I have a different question 3 now. She got into trouble because she refused to listen to the dash given by her friends and relatives. I have many of the advice, series of advices, piece of advices, advice, and lots of advices. Now, question option B, option C, and option E are already cancelled. Why? I hope you know the reason already. Because advices is not to be pluralized. Advice is not to be pluralized because it is an uncountable noun. So option B, C, and E are already ruled out. This is what you should know so that you can be confident when choosing your answer. Immediately you spot the options, you should know, oh, these three are out already. Now, my battle is between just two options, option A and option D. Looking at option A, advice is not pluralized here. Advice is how it is supposed to be. But then I cannot have many. Many is not one of the determiners that should come before my uncountable nouns. So that makes option A to also be wrong. Now we'll just stick to option D, which is advice in the plural form and the singular form, how it should be, not pluralized. Now let's move to question 4. You surely want dash in your tea, don't you? For A, I have all milk, B, a milk, C, some milk, D, every milk, and E, any milk. Now, in question 4, option A is out, option B is out, option D is out, option C and option E is what we are left with. Some milk and any milk. Now you surely want dash in your tea, don't you? Surely want some milk in your tea, don't you? You surely want some milk in your tea, don't you? Now that is option C. For question 5 I do not want dash from such a friend as Jimo. I do not want dash from such a friend as Jimo. Any more advices? No more advice. Any advices? No advice, and any advice. Now, any more advices, any advices, both are out. Why? Because advices pluralize there. Now I am left with option B, option D, and option E. It is left to me now to be able to pick out the right one between these three options. Now, the first one, no more advice. No, I do not have no more as one of the determiners for my uncountable noun. Now I have no advice. I do not have this also as one of the determiners for my uncountable noun. The only thing I can put before my uncountable noun here is any. So I would have, I do not want any advice from such a friend as Jimo. Are we following? You can
Yes, ma'am.
unmute yourself and tell me if you are following. Good.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Now, okay. Okay, let's continue. Now, question 6, we have the court ordered the lorry driver to pay for the dash to my car. This is not car, it should be car. To my car. I have damages, heavy damages, destruction, many damages, and damage. I have analyzed this before, but because of the reshuffling of the question, let me just reanalyze. Option A, B, and option D, out. Option C and E is what I will hold on to. Now, I have to pick one. Is it destruction or damage? But because here and I know we are talking about uncountable nouns. So my answer is going to be what? Damage, as damage is part of my uncountable nouns. So option E is the right option. Now, journalists always collect and publish dash informations and information, some information and much informations. Option A, option C, and option E are wrong. Why? Information is pluralized there. It has an S, which makes it plural. And my information should not be plural because it is one of the uncountable nouns. Now I am left with B and D. And information and option D says information. Why can't I pick option B? Please, one of the learners should unmute and tell me why I can't pick option B.
Because it
Because
has a
an
qualifier.
indefinite as
Because what?
Because
Can you
it
repeat
is
that?
preceded by
It has an
indefinite
indefinite.
an
article.
indefinite article.
Good job. So because it is preceded by an indefinite article, and we already said it in the rule that our uncountable noun should not be preceded by indefinite article a or an. So option B is also wrong, and that makes option D to be the correct option to this question. Now we have question 8. The principal went to buy some dash for the physics laboratory. I have equipment, pieces of equipment, items of equipment, and list of equipment. Here, option B, C, and D, out. I have option A and option E to be what I will hold on to and try to analyze. List of equipment. List of is not one of the determinants that precedes uncountable noun. So it makes option E to also be one of the wrong options, and option A is the right option. Quickly, let's move to question 9. Do you think all dash not enough to help the investigator? These informations are, this information are, this information is, and this information are. Now, option A, I have this is the plural form of what? This is the plural form of what? Of this.
Yes.
It is the plural form of THIS. So everything about option A is wrong. This is plural. Informations is plural. Are is also plural. Everything about option A is wrong. Option A is out. Let's move to option B. This information are. We would have said that option B is correct, but what made it one of the incorrect option is the presence of are. Are is used for plural, not singular. So option B is also out. Now let's take a look at option C. This information is. This is looking like our right answer, but then let's look at option D before we conclude. This information are. This one also, information is not pluralized here, fine, which is one of the rules of uncountable nouns. They should not be pluralized. But then there is something that makes option D to be wrong, and that is the presence of this and are, which are known to be plurals. So C will be the right answer, not option A, not option B, and not option D. Question 10 talks about compound noun. The hospital can now boast of that of more dash. I have women doctor, I have woman doctors, I have women doctors, and I have woman's doctor. Now, I already explained in the rules for compound nouns that when you have man plus noun or woman plus noun, please, Elena should unmute and tell me which one to pluralize. When you have man plus noun or woman plus noun, what does the rule says?
We
Analyze
pluralize
the
both.
woman.
Good.
Both. We realize both.
We
Both.
pluralize both. When you have
Yes.
man plus noun or woman plus noun, what you should do is pluralize both. Pluralize both. If you look at option A is looking like my right option, but doctor is still in singular form. That makes option A to be wrong. Option B, I have doctors only pluralized, woman is singular. Option B is also wrong. Option D, woman's doctor. This is talking about possessive noun, not in any way plural. So this is out already. Then we have option C, women doctors. And our rule says that when I have man plus noun or woman plus noun, I should pluralize both man and the noun or both the woman and the noun. So option C is the right option. We are moving. We are on question 11 already. He decided to wait for the bus because he had dash. I have many luggages, plenty luggages, a lot of luggage, too many luggage. Here, option A, option B, and option, okay, let's rule out option A and B because luggage is pluralized there. Let's stick to option C and option D. I have a lot of luggage and I have too many luggage. One of my learners should tell me which one to pick. Am I to pick a lot of luggage or too many luggage? Considering that luggage is not pluralized in both options.
A lot of
A
luggage.
A
lot
lot
of
of
love.
luggage.
A lot of
A lot of luggage.
Okay, everybody is picking a lot of luggage
A
now.
lot of
Good.
luggage.
You know, since I have been picking my answers, I have been backing them with rules, with evidence. Now I want you to do the same. Back your answer with evidence, please. Why should I pick a lot of luggage and not too many luggage? Look at too many luggage now. The luggage is also not pluralized there. And that is one of the rules for uncountable nouns that you should not pluralize them. So why can't I pick option D? Why should I pick option C?
Because
Because many is not part of the determiner we can use for
Uncountable nouns.
Good, because many is not part, too many is not, even many alone without the two preceding it is not part of the determinants you can use for your uncountable noun. So you have a lot of luggage. You can have a lot of preceding your uncountable noun. You can have a bit of preceding your uncountable noun. You can have a piece of preceding your uncountable noun. You can have an item of preceding your uncountable noun. We are still going to come to a question that has this option in it, an item of, and most people chose the wrong answer there. Why? The reason is not far-fetched. The reason is because I did not mention an item of during the class. And that was the reason I told you then that you should not just sit down and not want to do more. You should always want to do more, always want to learn more outside what is being taught in the class. So because I did not include that, some people picked wrong, so many people picked wrong options. So many people picked the wrong option to that question because they were thinking an item of, maybe an item of news is not correct. So we'll get to that. For this question, question 11, my answer is a lot of luggage. Now, when we were coming back from the picnic last Friday, there was dash on Eco Bridge. I've analyzed this before. And the answer we picked was there was much traffic on Eco Bridge. The school board has placed an order for dash. We picked the answer to this also. And the answer was option B, all the furniture and equipment required in the new school, because this is the only option that fits in the uncountable noun rules. That is, do not pluralize any uncountable noun. Now, they spend the last holiday with their sister in-laws, option A. Option B, sisters in-law. Option C, sisters in-laws. Option D, sisters in-laws, the in-laws written together. From the rules of compound noun is that when you have a noun plus a preposition plus another noun, when you want to pluralize, what do I pluralize, please? What should I pluralize? When I have the
The,
combination of noun plus preposition plus noun, what should I pluralize?
the first
The
noun.
first
The first
noun.
noun, the first noun, not the last one, not the preposition, not the two nouns. I should only pluralize the first noun. So option A is wrong because the second noun is pluralized instead of the first. Option C is wrong because the two nouns are pluralized. Option D is wrong also because I have laws and sisters pluralized, and even the in and law doesn't have any hyphen in between. So option B is the only right option here because it is the only option that has the first noun to be pluralized. Are we together, learners? Okay, question 15. I am sorry I can't go to the theater with you as I have dash to do. A, many works. B, a walk. C, plenty work. D, much work. E, lots and lots of work. Looking at option E, nobody will even tell you to think twice before you rule it out because you can't have lots and lots of work. So we have option A and option E is out because lots and lots already shows plural. Many works. Works is also pluralized there. Now I am left with option B, C, and D. Let's start analyzing. Option B has a work. A or an should not precede my uncountable noun. Option B is out. I have plenty work. Plenty work. Now, I already told you that you can have plenty of acting as a determiner for your uncountable noun. You can have plenty of preceding your uncountable noun, not just plenty. So option C is wrong because it is only plenty you have there and not plenty of. So option C is out. Option C is wrong. And what I will pick there is option D. I am sorry I can't go to the theater with you as I have much work to do, not plenty of. Plenty work. You can say plenty of work, not plenty work. Now let's go to question 16. Dash yet about the principal. Dash yet about the principal. Option A, are there any news? Option B, are there some news? Option C, is there any news? Option D, is there any news? Who can tell me the right answer to this question? Question 16.
Is there any news?
Which of these there? I have so many there.
C.
Two there.
Option
So which one are
option
you
D.
talking about?
C.
Option D.
Option
The
D.
option C. The option C.
Option C or
Option
D?
Option D.
C.
Option
Option
C.
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 Option C. So why is it not option D? Option D is also there now.
Because of there. Because of there. Because of the spelling.
What what what
So
what, what makes the difference there? Okay, the spelling are different. Does it change
Yeah.
anything with meaning?
Yeah.
yes,
Okay, so tell me the meaning for the first one, THERE, and also the meaning for the second one, THEIR.
because the there is used for possession, the THEIR is used for possession, and the other there is used um for that kind of question. I don't know.
Spell.
Okay. Okay, thank you for that. She said the option D, THEIR, the there, ERE, is used for that kind of question, you know. She just explained in her own way. Thank you for that. At least you have an idea what we are talking about here. Any other learner, please? I want someone else to tell me why option C is correct. So we already had a learner who said that it's because of the
Option
difference.
D.
Okay.
Option D is for possession about something. Why option C is to know about the thing.
Okay. Option C is to know about something, while option D shows possession. Any other learner, please? I want just one more. Just one more.
Option C. That
Differentiating
is
between
there.
option C and D, THERE and THEIR.
Okay. That CHER,
So
it
that
is
we just need to
used
know the
to
difference between okay.
it is used to show existence. While that of THEIR, it is used to it is used for something that belongs to someone.
Okay. Just possession. So everybody knows that option D, the THEIR there is used for possession. And and I have different opinions about option. Yeah, I have different opinions about option C. Some said it is used for this type of question, it is used in questioning, and all of that. Okay, I will analyze the difference before we end the class between THERE and THEIR. Let's just rule out our options now. So option C is also wrong because, oh, sorry, option C is right, while option D is wrong because of the presence of that THEIR. THEIR, this THEIR is not used in this context. I'll tell you the difference between THERE and THEIR before we end this class, inshallah. Now, question 17 is the only question I think I haven't talked about in any of the classes. I have Dan and Tina met on the ship and greeted Dash. Dan and Tina met on the ship and greeted Dash. I have themselves, I have one another, I have each other and themselves. This question falls under reciprocal pronoun. And in reciprocal pronoun, you have each other and one another. When you use each other, you use each other for just two entities. For example, Dan and Tina, I have just two people here, so I have to use each other. But when you talk about more than two people, when you talk about more than two people, that is when you use one another. If the question had been Dan, Tina, and Ugochukwu met one another, it would have been met one another. Why? Because I have more than two people mentioned there. But here now I have just two people, Dan and Tina. So Dan and Tina met each other, met on the ship and greeted each other. Now let's go to question 18. The university has a large collection of sporting dash. I have equipment, I have aids, I have costumes, and I have equipment. So I have the university has a large collection of sporting equipment. That is equipment we use for sports. Now, question 19. The man insisted on giving unsolicited dash. The man insisted on giving unsolicited dash. Advice, advices, advice, and advices. Option B, C, and D are wrong. Option B is wrong because advice is not to be pluralized. Option C and D wrong because performing it performs the work of a verb, not the work of a noun. And we are talking about nouns here. That makes option A to be the only correct option. Now, I sent Dash news to the press yesterday. I have a parcel of news, I have a flash of news, I have an item of news, and I have number of news. Here, an item of news. If you do not know before, I want you to know today. An item of is also um one of your determiners. An item of is also one of the determiners that can precede your uncountable noun. So please add it to it. A piece of, a bit of, a lot of, an item of. And most people chose a parcel of news, a parcel of news, a parcel of news. Why? So an item of news is the correct answer here. Let
We can't hear you again, ma.